Football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? Manchester United is making moves. I don't know what else to say. Manchester United, it's a different animal this summer. For United fans, it's a huge relief. It's a breath of fresh air. A lot of work to do. Let me caveat, a lot of work to do. A lot of planes to land. But at the end of the day, the moves we're making, the amount of moves we're making at the same time, the type of moves we're making, the type of deals we're structuring, a lot of things to be excited about. So more stuff happening, more targets. We're looking at, a midfielder, a little Uruguayan guy. We're looking to sell some players. I heard there's a Dutch center back in Germany we're haggling over. We're haggling with Bayern. Apparently another offer went in today. They rejected it. But you like to see your club do moves, and you like your club to say, I ain't paying no 50 million pounds. I know you want to get rid of him for 38 million pounds and willing to do deals, and say no, because someone I know used to tell me negotiation starts at no, and I think Manchester United have finally figured that out. Instead of like the Ed Woodward approach, which is like, our price is 75. It's like, well, I'll give you 80. It's like, we've changed it up. We've changed it up, and God bless it, because we need it. And it's just wonderful to see. I can't wait to see what they do next. Or how are we feeling? How are we doing?
I mean, like you said, lots of business left. A great start. Lenny Euro looking sharp for United. Get to look good on the USA preseason tour. But it really comes down to some key components. Right back, that's a problem right now. Left back, that's a problem. Center back, can we sell someone? Can we buy someone? Like you said, there's rumors out there. And then that midfield, Casemiro looks out of shape. Saudi doesn't want to pay top dollar. What are we going to do? Lots of balls up in the air, a lot of smoke screens probably on players we might not be too hot to trot on. And Ineos is going to have to wrap this whole thing up. Community Shield August 10th. Obviously, the deadline day goes much farther. And I feel like this is just going to be, like you said, we got to land the plane. We need to get the squad together. Ten Hag taking the boys to the U.S., which is great. But it's about filling key holes that are going to creep up on us throughout the long season we have. We have a European campaign. We're in 2 domestic cup competitions. We have the league. We saw left back last year was a shit show. I heard rumors about I'm a Robot might come back. Like, what are we thinking? It's like, we need left back cover. We need to keep Aaron Wan-Bissaka or deal him. We need to make these decisions. Ashworth is in seat making them, and he wrote a great letter to the fans, which we'll get into. But the tone has changed at United, but still big calls to be made. I think Lenny Euro, that one was kind of easy. He was earmarked. Barada got it over the line. Now it's, what do we do in the midfield? Can we get a left back on loan? What about a backup striker? We could go young with one of the kids. Is Toby Coyer going to come in? Do we sign Urgarte? Do we go with a young kid? There's a lot of calls that are going to be made about this squad, and these decisions are going to set us up for a successful season or an unsuccessful one. And it's really exciting because we finally have a first-class front office to deal with it all. So I'm excited to see what they come up with.
No, 100%. We're in good hands, and we're in good hands for the first time in a long time. And that's just a relief to all Manchester United fans who've seen what has happened to our storied club under the management and ownership of the Glazer family. So there's a lot of moving parts. They're doing a lot of deals. And also, they're probably running smoke screens, like you said. They know what they're doing. This is not Dan Ashworth or Omar's first rodeo. So they know you don't just run one deal at a time. And also, you don't just go after one target in that position you're going after it one at a time. So maybe Ugarte is bullshit. Maybe De Ligt's bullshit. Maybe they have backups that we don't, maybe like Brain. I'm not gonna,
like Lenny Euro kind of came out of nowhere, right? It was
nowhere.
Like, boom.
Like there was a little bit of smoke, but it was all about Real Madrid, and then it was done in 2 days. It was literally done so fast, and all the deals have been done.
Old United would have been brand weight all the way.
They would have paid $80 million. They paid
just been like that for 3 months,
right.
And then we capitulate and pay full ticket. Like it's incredible where we've come, and even the rumor that like we're paying a fee to another club on the Greenwood sale. It's incredible. That business is so bad. So just glad we got some serious people in at United. I'm cheering them on from the sidelines. I feel like I can sleep well at night. And I'm excited to see what they come up with because I doubt we're going to have as many holes in the team that were as glaringly obvious as last year. Like center back was an issue last year. Left back was kind of unfortunate, but getting rid of Reguilón was, like, again, a huge error for the front office. I'm excited to see these guys go to work, and there's a lot of wood to chop, like you said, sir. Who needs a lumberjack when you can get a professional wood chopper?
That's what we got. Professional wood choppers, guys.
Versus, lumberjack.
What is a lumberjack? Sorry. Boys from the suburbs.
Professional wood chopper.
Learning a lot.
He's got a lot of wood chopper.
The thing we're going to see this summer is that I have actually a ton of confidence in the front office. Like you mentioned, this is a world-class front office, and that's not something we're used to. But the thing that we're going to see is, like, we start early. We start a week earlier than everybody else because we have the Community Shield. There was 2 international cups with a lot of our important players featuring. And we're going to have a very active transfer window probably to the last week. Not even because we're doing the old way, which was just like have a target, let everybody know your target, have them tell you the price, refuse to hit the price until the last week, and then maybe overpay because they already walked away from the deal. That's the old United way. There's a new United way. So I think what you're going to see is, like, we're going to have a rocky start to the season for the fact that our best players were at the Euros, so they're coming back late. And also there's going to be so much squad movement, I think, up until September 1st, that you might not see this shit settle until after the first international break, right? That always happens in early September after the season's been going for like 3 weeks. So I think we'll say that. I think it'll be a rocky start. We've already been calling for a rocky season, but I do think we'll get better as the season goes on. But like you said in the other pod, is that we've seen this. When you make so many moves, it's like, it doesn't matter if they're great moves. They're good outs and good ins. There's just so many moving pieces that this team like hasn't played together. I mean, hell, the guys don't even know each other. So that's an element too. They got to hang out together all the time. So I'm confident we'll get them. Like, we're going to make the most of this window, given the cash we have available and the moves we had to do. But like, the settling is going to take a series of months, and we have to expect that.
No, that's a great point. Quick PSA for the podcast before we jump into the transfer puppetry proper. We just got our YouTube channel off the ground this summer. Please check it out. Like, subscribe, and comment on our videos for the chance to become the Muppet of the Week. Current Muppet of the Week at Chic. Shika Maranara 821. Love the username. Quote, really glad to have found the channel. Keep up the great work, guys. Big shout out to, not going to say the username because it's a jumble. But again, we have tons of great comments on the video. If you like, you subscribe. It goes a long way. We are a small YouTube channel, but a long time podcast. Been around for 7 years, and now we're getting YouTube off the ground. So if you're listening, head over to the YouTube, check it out, like and subscribe. Also, check out our Patreon page. We do not have any commercial sponsors. We're not selling you nothing on this pod other than the Muppet Take. If you join our Patreon page, you get access to an extra episode every month. Tons of other benefits. Please check it out. Patreon.com/America Red Devils. And if Patreon isn't your thing, we have a store. Great scarves. We got new merch coming in. The Garnacho scarf, hats. We have beanies, stickers, shirts. I'm wearing one right here in the bunker. Anything you buy in our store goes a long way to support the podcast because we literally have a light hanging from the ceiling that is it's literally duct taped to the top of the ceiling and it's falling out of the ceiling. And Alex has a handyman on the way, but that's just give you an idea of the pod bunker and the improvements we need to make here. Sir, tell them about iTunes reviews.
It's like House on Haunted Hill at the moment. So join Patreon, buy the merch, like, subscribe. It goes a long way. Or if you don't want to do those things, write 5-star reviews wherever you listen. They go a long way, especially if you do it on iTunes or Spotify. And if you do so, and if you send a screenshot of your 5-star review to americadevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, I will personally pack and ship free ARD gear, send it right to your door anywhere in the world. We appreciate all the great reviews. 5 stars all across the board, and I'm hoping for 5-star Reds this summer and this year because, goddamn, we got to wipe that shit football out of our mouth, and I am hopeful we're going to do so.
No, absolutely. It's one of those things where the Glazer era or the Glazer management or their chosen Ed Woodward management to go is definitely like a big one. And I feel like right now it's a new day at Manchester United, sir. You want to get into the news?
Let's do it.
All right, United in the news.
What I was looking for was on the soundboard of, what was it, eras come to an end that Erik ten Hag said in his first season, talking about City. But really, that's more poignant talking about the Glazers, because holy shit, that's the era we really needed to come to an end. And it is.
And eras come to an end because we have serious individuals with world-class CVs communicating with the fan base. Where are we? What club is this? Dan Ashworth wrote a message to United supporters. This comes after the Barada letter to Must. These are class individuals. They know this stuff inside and out. We'll highlight a few quotes from the letter. I'm just going to get into it. He talks about he wants to make sure that the academy is a success. The women's team is a big part of the vision for United. It's a huge area of growth for the club, which I totally agree. It talks about the £50 million season-long redevelopment of Carrington and how, the teams are going to have to work through that. But the last paragraph, I think, says it all. Quote, "This remains one of the biggest football clubs in the world, but that is not our measure of success. The focus is on getting back to being among the best on the pitch. It won't happen overnight, but together with Omar and his new leadership team, we will not rest until we have achieved it." And I love those words. It's got that grit. It's got that admission. United is one of the biggest football clubs. It's got the kick in the Glazers because, hey, it's not the goal to be the biggest football club. We got to be the best on the pitch, and we will not rest until it is achieved. And I just love the language from Ashworth. Elite mentality, our new director of football.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy. We're not worthy, Dan Ashworth. Welcome aboard. We are grateful to have you, and this is exactly what we want to hear. We don't need much. Manchester United fans do not need much, but they need a little, and this is exactly right. Like you said, Omar setting the tone with Must. Ratcliffe, in the first place, getting in front of the media in ways that we never saw during 20 years of Glazer ownership, not once really, unless they were getting chased to their car, and them coming full out and him talking about his background. I like that, reading about him growing up. And even though he didn't grow up in Manchester, he always had an attachment to Manchester United because of his parents.
That's fluff, to be honest.
I know I eat that shit up, bro.
No,
I'm a 100% numpty Muppet. So I
know it's that whole
I care about this stuff more.
The whole Omar Brada, I grew up and I love the magic of Manchester United.
More.
Everybody has that story of I've worked for a lot of other football teams and I've said the same fluff to all of them when I joined, but I'm going to come up with some sort of nostalgic story of why United's better than every other club.
Don't fuck with me right now.
I skipped that part because that's just literally table stakes. Everybody has some vague story about it. My dad liked all the clubs, but I felt like it was special when he watched United. It couldn't be more it's dude, he didn't grow up a United fan. It's okay. It's I don't care. He is ambitious and he knows this is the number one club in England. And if he can make the number one club in England, bring them to the top again, he'll get a statue, right? This guy's ambitious. I know that's what's driving him. As far as your boyhood fandom, I don't know. You can't diligence that really, unless you're us.
We'll diligence it. We'll diligence it. Maybe, but also remember where these guys used to coach.
No, he really liked United.
Hold on. I'm not fighting. I'm fighting on this. Remember where they worked for. Manchester City, who has no history. Newcastle United, who hasn't won a piece of silverware in 70 years. He came from Brighton.
It's not every player doesn't every player we sign.
Everybody must love. No, Lenny was lying. Lenny was lying through his teeth.
Lenny Euro comes in and is he
Don't
wants
take this from me, John. Don't take it from me.
He wants Real Madrid and he comes to United.
He's lying his ass
after
off.
I saw them win the FA Cup, I knew
that was the best lie I've ever heard.
I saw Real Madrid win the Champions League, but no, it was that FA Cup that it's come on.
That was hilarious.
There's a lot of. It's almost funny when everybody does it because the club's yeah. Tell some story why the club's special to you. And Lenny Euros is right.
Lenny's was the funniest yet because he's it was that champ. It was the treble back in '99 when I wasn't even born yet. That really turned my head. Very good point. He was not watching the FA Cup final.
No, not a chance. But regardless, he's getting paid well. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity. United's the land of opportunity. It's the land of opportunity for Dan Ashworth, and great words from him. This gets me jazzed up. It gets the full numpty, the nostalgia of his father, and you're like, I knew it. I knew he didn't like Brighton, and I knew that he didn't like Newcastle. He always wanted United.
It's not about that. It's not about disliking them. It's about being on board the mission and the project. Even if you're blowing smoke, it's believable because of who we are. We are not we're not every other club. We are not a City. We are not a Newcastle United. We're not a Brighton. We're Manchester United. So
here's the quote.
Even if they're lying to me, come on, give it to me.
This
baby.
is
Let's
the quote.
give it to me.
This,
Okay,
this,
actually,
this,
I bust out the 8 ball.
This is the quote that Alex really likes.
Go ahead.
When I visited as a boy, my dad would take me to games across Greater Manchester. This is like saying like he wouldn't even just take him to United. He had to take him
Greater
across
Manchester.
And
keep going.
And I remember the thrill of my first visit to Old Trafford in the late 70s, watching the likes of Lou Macari. Shout out to Lou Macari. Lou Macari's Chips, Jimmy Nicol, and Arthur Albertson. So, I can't claim to have been a partisan United fan, but like it's just very funny.
My dad enjoyed watching all the local teams. Nobody enjoys watching all the local teams.
No, it probably means my dad was a City supporter, and yes,
which is fine.
Totally.
Did Dan Ashworth actually experience what he said he did? Most likely.
So okay, I'm proven wrong. Magic 8 Ball has it out.
It's probably bullshit. But hey, he's saying the right things elsewhere. He's saying about bringing the club back. And like you said, you're focusing on the good part. He's not just talking about the commercial success, which has been the focus of the last regime. The entire time, all they cared about was clicks and making money. But they also were not good at making money or not blowing through cash. So these guys are smart. They realize you want to be the most valuable sports club in the world. Well, that starts by being the best football club we possibly can be. So let's get back to that standard. He wants to get back to that standard, and the team has been built around him to return us to the promised land, which we all crave so badly.
Yeah, next big signing, David De Gea coming back to Manchester United, as he should, sir, to be our number one goalie. Just kidding. We're going to be talking about a youngster here. This one, very interesting, kind of came up hot and heavy today. Chido Obi-Martin. Basically, he's coming up off a contract in the Arsenal Academy, and we might be scooping him up. Did the same for the likes of young players around the league, getting the youth prospects. I think this is a good sign, right?
And he is like absurdly highly rated. I went through the archives. Now, obviously, he's young. He's 16. Doing it in the academy level is nothing like doing the top flight, but just in terms of like the rep he had is very high. 16-year-old, he's a Dane. Obviously, he's in the Arsenal Academy. He scored like twice as many goals as Mason Greenwood did in his like under 18 season. So he's been likened to a lot of legends of the game. That's not even worth mentioning, but highly rated. Gazump in Arsenal. A bunch of other top clubs were in for him. It's not done. It's not over the line yet, but we are the favorite. And this just speaks to the type of transfers that our new front office is looking to make. We don't just go out and buy Osimhen. You buy the next Osimhen. You buy the kid that's going to be the next killer. And he's so I'm excited about this. He's a player for the future. A lot of these players we're bringing in are players of the future, but it shows the right structure. You can't just have big killers come in, or even players on an upside like Højlund or like Lenny. You need to also feed the academy. So it's good to see us feeding the academy. We should return to one of the, we are making our way, but we should be cemented as like by far the best academy in England and one of the top 3 in the world. And I think we will get back there.
U18s did pretty well last year.
We're on the way back.
And obviously this would be a huge addition to that. And I support the signing, sir. Looking at the transfer market profile of Chido Obi, like you said, plays for Denmark. He's a center forward, and his current market value 400,000 euros, sir. So he came out of the FC Kubenhavn Youth Academy.
Let's go, baby.
FCK.
There's some stats on the other side, sir. I think the
U18 Premier League, 32 goals.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
That's unbelievable. 3 assists. He doesn't pass. He's selfish.
Good.
Look at that. Love it. And this is exactly why Ineos is going to want to make these types of deals, because here's the thing. Look at the probability of transfer here on Transfer Market, 87%. Not sure what goes into that, but I'll take 87. Not a bad percentage. Here's the deal. You sign this kid, you can sell him, right? The worst case scenario, you can get something for him. Think of Kambuala for 10 million euro. Look at City. Look at the youth prospects they sold. They sold Cole Palmer.
Great point.
How much? 40, 50 million to Chelsea. Like, you just have this farm of talent that if they can't fit into your team, you're going to deal them. You're going to make money. That's going to fund buys on the other side, sir. And like, this is the type of business that we haven't seen at United in a long time, and just speaks to the change that is in the air for Manchester United. And it's great to see.
It's great to see, because it's not, like I said, there's a lot of flavors to a lot of ways that you can kind of like build a club up. And, we've always done it like overpay for a variety of different flavors of player, over the hill players, up and coming players, whatever. But like we've neglected the academy in many ways, at least recently. So like that, I like the example of City. It's like they have all these players they came through. Very few actually make it. There are very few, Fodens and Ricos that actually make it, but they do sell them for like insane amounts of money. I'm sure some of those are some shady dealings, because they're shady as shit, but they are like, that helps them pay for a Guardiola or a fucking, what's his name, Grealish for 100 mil. It's like, that's how they do it.
Another stat, 10 goals in 14 appearances for the Denmark U17 team. I think transfermarket.com is doing him dirty with this photo. I think he might send in a better picture for the youngster, but Chido Obi, smart business. We're going to keep you posted. Next bit of news here, we're going to be talking your man, Uguarte, the Uruguayan. I know you love Uruguay. 52 million signing of Lenny Euro, but PSG are holding out for 59 million among interest from other clubs. Again, you're going to be having some sort of negotiating game here being played with Ineos and PSG. 59 million pounds, little rich. 35, 40 plus add-ons. You're getting there. For me, having seen the player in the Copa, you can't be getting into the 60s. That's a little too much for me.
Couldn't agree more. I do like the player for value. I like that he's a dog. I think we need more dogs. Decent size, 6 foot, but I agree. It's like he's a 40 million pound signing. The whole reason I thought this was a great target for us was because they want to sell him, because they want to make room for Neves, who we're probably priced out of because we have so many players to bring in. But this is where the front office shines. This is why we haven't closed De Ligt yet, because Bayern still think we're a bunch of chumps. We're going to work that reputation out, I think, sooner than I thought, certainly, based on the deals they're already doing. It's not just about the target, it's about the target at what price, right? It's like, if you paid 40 million for Maguire, no one would have gave a shit, but you paid fucking 80, well, that changes things. You pay 60 for this kid, it changes things. But if it, like you said, if it's 35 plus 5, I can get down with that in this current age, given he's 23. So we'll see. And also, the new news came out, sir, around the same club, around a player that we want to deal. So that it hasn't been validated by tier ones on our end, but that's a very interesting angle to see, like, if we'd actually see a swap deal. We haven't done a swap deal since when we swapped with Arsenal for fucking Alexis Sanchez and Mkhitaryan, which actually turned out to be a terrible trade.
Mkhitaryan, he's our midfield Armenian.
God, fucking Alexis Sanchez was one of the worst signings we ever made.
Oh man, that was a good song back in the day.
That was a good
Mourinho.
Some good songs back then.
And apparently we've agreed personal terms with Ugarte. So again, we agree personal terms with him, and we have to negotiate with PSG. They're saying 59 million pounds or bust. I think this is one of those like timeout, like you heard with like where you get to De Ligt. It's like you kind of hit the wall on price, timeout, smoke some other rumors, then wait for the end and try to be opportunistic. That's how I would run it if I was Ineos. But just looking at Ugarte's stat sheet here, not scoring bangers, but his pass completion rate is high, 95th percentile for midfielders, tackles, interceptions. You're getting a bruiser, CDM, someone to break up play, protect the back line. I like it in combination of a Kobe Mainu and a Lenny Euro, who basically are really great on the ball. You need someone to do the dirty work. And if you had some sort of yards covered, he'd be on that as well. Don't like progressive passes this low, but that's not his job. His job is to break it up and then give it to the guys to get it forward. But United do need a guy like this. He looks like a dog, can do it in the midfield. Good successor to Casemiro would be the ideal profile for Urgarte.
And about prices, right? A great comp just went in the market that apparently we tried to hijack, which was Amadou Onana, a player I think both of us rate that just left Everton to go to Aston Villa. He went for £50 million. So the idea that you'd pay more for Ugarte, for Onana, who's probably has more upside, and he's Premier League proven, is preposterous. So there's the price. Cannot go higher than 50, and even 50 is too high. So I do like United trying to gazump it. I think they probably like heard that price. Like, holy shit, that's what PSG quoted us in the same ballpark. But it's about like you said, pushing pause. They're running smoke screen. They're talking about this guy Fofana out of Monaco who plays the same position. Talking about some cat out of Colombia who's a little bit more dynamic,
much cheaper. Yep,
much cheaper. But
yep.
they're playing the game, which is like, all right, well, you're going to set an unreasonable price. We're looking elsewhere, and that's how you get people to move, especially when they need to sell the
Ligt. You're
Dayton. They need to sell the Ligt in order to buy the guy they want out of Leverkusen. They need to sell Ugarte in order to get Neves out of Benfica. So it's like this is where the musical chairs comes into account in the summer. So
Sir, it's just like dating. We're young men coming up in the game. It's like you got to play the field a little bit. That's how you get other teams jealous and they want to buy your player. It's like kind of a thing. It's like how you work. You got to work the game, work all angles. Sir, this is like 101 transfer business 101. Sir, speaking of transfer business 101, get rid of Jadon Sancho. Can we do it with PSG early on? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't buy it. I mean, you're right. You convinced me. You're like, you watch him in that preseason game, even though he's still coming up to fitness, and fitness is an issue with him. He's a player. If he can be motivated, he certainly has the talent to play top flight football. Now, personally, I prefer him to not be at Manchester United, but like I can see the argument of loaning out Anthony and making him go in the squad. So you do a January sale or you sell him next summer. This would be like a perfect move. Like if you could just do a straight swap and they take his giant wages, and I'm sure I have every confidence we can get Ugarte for far, far less. That would probably be a good outcome. But like it came out of nowhere, and I don't really buy it because
I mean,
I don't really buy it.
It seems like a match made in heaven.
It
It's like they can pay the wages. Sancho's kind of like a Hollywood player.
That's
PSB's kind of like, hey, they don't need you to show up to training on time or try hard type of. It's not like
League One, bro.
Like you know what I'm saying? Just like ball out in League One with an extra 20 pounds on
like
you.
A sweet haircut.
Go clubbing in Paris. Like, I mean, it's not. It seems right up like Sancho's alley. This seems like a deal could get done if it ended up but this is the moves Ineos needs to explore. If you could get a Sancho for Urgarte, that would be ideal. I still think we could use Sancho. I'd like to see us play him for at least half a season, maybe deal him in January. If it doesn't work out, there is a little momentum seeing him play in preseason that you could trade him now. And if he just plays horribly this season, selling him in January could be a risk. So there's a little, brinksmanship here with the Jadon Sancho, but getting him off the books, those wages off the books is a priority because he still has 2 years left on the deal. Next bit of news here, De Ligt. Erik ten Hag confirms Manchester United, Matthijs de Ligt interest and defends his Dutch targets in the past. Erik ten Hag has been saying everything right except for when it comes to somebody talking smack on his boy Anthony. He gets really weird.
He does
get
weird.
Really weird. It's like I feel like he's saying like 80% of the right things, and then 20% is just that stubborn Dutch, like can't take the L. Like, he just needed to come out and be like a little more humble, but he's really going to Matt. Like how Anthony was not a bad signing and everyone agreed that he was a great player. And it's just like,
which is why
you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Like you survived. You went through last season. Like it's all good. Like your boy's going to get like completely railroaded and sent out of town. Like he's a nice guy. I'm sure Anthony's a great guy. Depends on how the police in the greater Manchester area, like what their investigation turns up. So he's probably not a great guy, but who knows?
He's our guy.
But like Ten Hag, when it gets to Anthony, it's kind of weird. So it's like the best thing we can do is get him out of the club. And then focus on this man, the true Dutchman, De Ligt at the back, Bayern, not wanting to budge on price, but I rate the center back because the possession game. Imagine him and Lenny Euro at the back for United. What would that do for our team? transformative for us, trying to play it out the back, progress the ball, dominate the ball. This is a good player. This is one that I want. I want him. Ugarte is not a must win for me. I want him. I want another left back. I want another striker. That's kind of my wish list right now.
Yeah, Ugarte is only because I want the profile. I want a dog, and we do need a CDM who's not Casemiro. I like the lid a lot, like you said, but about the price. We've made an offer apparently today for £35 million. Bayern want 50. I think they could find a deal here. You know, get him for 42. Some of it being add-ons. That would be a great... He's only turning 25 this year. He's a player you would have thought is 30. Because we've been hearing about him so long. I believe we played against him in the Europa League final, if I remember correctly, and he was just a young pup.
Yes, that's when he was like, went to Juventus,
18,
right?
Yeah, and huge money. So I do like the signing. If we can get over the line, I think we will get it over the line. He's willing to take a pay cut, which I like. He's won a title every time he changes teams. I like that. Knock on wood. Even though, that ain't happening. I don't want to get my hopes up, but let's see. What I'm most excited for is like what happened. This is like in previous transfer windows, I just had a feeling of dread. Like, Jesus Christ, they're going to drag it out. They're going to make a meal of it, et cetera, et cetera. Now it's like, what are they going to do? What are they going to come up with? It's actually like fun, exciting. You have no idea. These guys are like smart. They're trying to do deals. Anything's possible.
Very nimble. They're very
super
nimble, efficient, smart. I mean, this over time is going to generate like a unrecognizable Manchester United, and I can't wait. Cheering them on from the sidelines. I feel like the deals we're doing are now like they're like. I feel like with Woodward, I could literally tell him how to do the job better, and now I these guys are just like on another level. Like I can't even get there. Right? They're doing too much. They're smoke screening everything. They're like involved in so many different pies. They're actually cutting deals like Donny gone, Greenwood gone, like Kamwala gone out of nowhere. Boom. I feel like every week there's like a deal that comes out of nowhere. Bam. It's like, and that's how it should be. It's like people can't predict what you're going to do. And I feel like when people know what you're going to do, that's when they just like crush you in the market. And Ineos and Co. doing it right and on a budget, given the PSR issues that United has, it's pretty impressive.
No, it already is night and day. It's already such a change. And like you said, it's amazing to go from being able to tell them what to do to be like, holy shit, these guys know what they're doing and we're going to learn from them, because they're running so many different plays at the same time. And it's great to have competency back in the front office because it's been so long. So very excited for the future. Lots of things to be excited about. Like our YouTube channel, check it out. And I love it. Manchester United on their way back. It's going to be a long road, but the future is definitely bright for this squad and this team.
A lot of hype in preseason, as there should be. Look, that's it. That's the podcast. No crazy here we goes, but hopefully some more deals while the team is on the USA tour. That's right. We're talking about practice. If you like the pod, we're for fans by fans. Check us out on YouTube, like Alex said. Like, subscribe, comment to be the Muppet of the Week. Also, Patreon. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/American Red Devils and AmericanRedDevils.store. For some merch, you can pick up some scarves, hoodies, etc. Tons of great stuff. Everything supports the podcast. And like I said, we have a light duct tape to the ceiling, so we could use your support. Sir, give us our top 10 downloads the last 7 days.
Number 1, how you doing? Chicago, Illinois. Los Angeles, California. Dublin, Ireland. Brooklyn, New York. Philadelphia, PA. New York. Atlanta, Georgia. Manchester, England. Oslo, Norway. And last but not least, Melbourne, Australia. Do not look at the light, sir. If you look at the light, the lights will fall.
No, I like the duct tape is actually like, I gotta.
It's falling. Don't show them.
There it is, baby. Look at that. Look at that. That's
a horror movie. House on Haunted Hill, baby. Cut to the big screen.
There you go. Look at that, sir. That's the pod bunker.
Don't show my insurance company. They'll take away my plan. Either way, it's always a laugh here on the American Devils. We appreciate all of you.
Hey, duct tape works. It was so funny. We're like, we have this like shady lights picture that might fall on us while we do the pod. Like, what do we need? Like, I was like, sir, you got to grab the duct tape because it is amazing.
It's holding.
Look, we'll keep you posted on when the light's fixed, hopefully this week. And we have the Arsenal match. We'll be back at the weekend with some more ARD content. Everybody enjoy the week. Let's hope we get some business done. And obviously, we're going to leave you with United Calypso. Enjoy it.